And I'm live. That is pretty cool. Today is 20th of August 2026, Thursday. And with that, let's begin. What do we have to do? I was watching this video by Core, Codumped. Yep, this guy here. And this should not be lagging, but okay, it is lagging. Here, he had a video about SIMD, that is single instruction multiple data. Yep, here SIMD. So in this video, he is talking about SIMD instructions. These are assembly level instructions in which you can perform a single operation on multiple points of data at the same time. It is like you have 10 x values and 10 y values and you want to add them together. Normally you would add x1 plus y1, x2 plus y2 sequentially, but using SIMD, you can add all these x values to all the y values at the same time, like
What I
at
have here
hardware
is a
level.
very simple gravity simulator. It allows me to create a cloud of particles with different initial conditions.
At hardware level, yep. And in this video, he used an example. He showed this gravity simulator. In this, he is like literally simulating gravity, and this is very fascinating. Like the way that this thing is working, it is very cool. Look at this. There are particles which are coming together and like moving literally in gravity, right? And the FPS is pretty high in this one. So after watching this, I wanted to make this because, like, of course, I am a scientist, so I like gravity, and I also know some computer science, so I would be able to make this. So, yep, that would be the goal of today's stream. And this is just so orgasmic. Look at this, how these particles are moving. This is very beautiful. And yep, I would like to create this. We can create this. He made this in, wait, shit, this is Rust. Okay, shit, this is Rust. He made this in Rust. FN. Yep, he made this in Rust, but we will use C++. I don't know Rust too much, so I'll be using C++. Hello. Will something? No, Mern is not. Of course, I am a scientist. From Uganda University? No, from like home university. From Stephen Hawking, A Brief History of Time University. Raylib. Okay. So yeah, we will be using Raylib to simulate the whole thing, to show things on a screen. Yep, I have made Conway's Game of Life in Raylib, but that was like 4 5 months, 6 months ago, more than 6 months ago. So yep, I forgot how to use Raylib, but we won't need much. What do we need? We need to initialize the project. We'll call it gravity. What do we call gravity? Okay, Gurutvakarshak. Yep, and that will be the name of the project. Git init, and yeah, we can start working. But how do we make this work? First of all, we have to initialize the project. And how do we initialize a project in Raylib? It is crazy. I don't really know how to initialize Raylib. Raylib by Raysan 5. Raysan is like not his made up name, it is literally his name. Basic example installation, where would be the working in Mac OS. Raylib quick start. Okay, a simple cross-platform template. Oh shit, we can just copy this template as our basic code and start writing code on top of this. Main.c will have the basic code. Cool, that works. Again, we can just, yeah, we can just use this template. Copy. Cool. Git clone this template. ls, okay, rm inside this template or git folder, rm rf raylib dot git move everything from there to here. and rmrf Raylib quick start folder. Okay, and now does this work? How do we make this work? I guess, how do we make this work? Clone this and download, rename the folder to our own name, move the folder in VS Code, and then it should work. Okay, here we have the source code build. Okay, yes, inside build there is pre-make command which we have to use. Yo, hello, material. I see you got a window manager. Yes, I have a window manager. Like, of course, I have had this since quite some time. / pre-make 5. Shit, execution format is wrong. osx.osx. Okay, that is the one. Raylib not found. Downloading Raylib from GitHub. Okay, once this works, our basic requirement would be to have a circle on the screen, or even before having a circle on the screen, we have to have a screen, right? Skeleton. Okay. Wait, what was this? Oh shit, that is different. So yes, first of all, we need to have a screen and a circle on the screen, a red circle or any colored circle would work. Unzip this external type pre-make help. To install pre-make 5. macOS users rename run pre-make gmake cd back to the root and then run. Okay, gmake. Okay, and here just run make. Okay, it is working. That is cool. What is your CF rating? It is right now 1325. Not 2000, but it will get there. This is way faster, right? Yes, look at this. This is way faster. And this window manager is for applications, but inside my browser I'm using Zen browser. There is window managing in the browser itself. This is like lagging a little bit right now. I don't know why. Sometimes Zen uses a lot of CPU. The people working on Zen are fixing it. It is still in its early stages, but yeah, this is pretty cool. You get workspaces, the concept of workspaces in your browser itself, which is pretty cool to separate your tabs. Okay, there was an error. To install pre-make, cd build. Where is pre-make? Brooded install pre-make. What is the problem? Phone is not charging somehow. Fetching downloads for pre-make. Okay, pre-make 5 is there. Pre-make 5 gmake was the command. Okay, that seems to have worked. Make and shit. Remake 5 gmake. Okay, this much works, but there is a problem while doing make, and the problem is undefined symbols for architecture. This referenced from this LD not found for architecture. This LD is there. Shit. Make linker command failed. Shit. Remake 5 OS6. This much works. We are getting error at this make part. Okay. I guess just chat GPT the shit out of this. Not and Linux users this for 20 years now. Okay, fine. Like good for you. I'm getting this error while setting up Raylib project locally after doing the make command or after entering the make command. Okay. I have to fix some things. Add this to your linker. You are using Raylib's makefile directly. I am using Raylib's recommended template. Which is this one. Failed to fetch this thing. Shit. Okay. It is fetching the whole GitHub repository, which is giving us error, and it will figure out what is wrong with this. I guess there have to be some changes in this. Change this makefile to the right one. What does it say? That explains it. This quick start template doesn't use a handwritten makefile. It uses pre-makefile 5 to generate the makefile from this, from build, pre-make, Lua, and the raw makefiles show up in this as a product. That is important. If you edit the generated makefile directly, pre-make will just overwrite it. Okay. So what is happening? Your project uses pre-make 5, not a handwritten makefile. That makes sense. The makefile under this thing is generated from pre-make 5 your project, and this is the Raylib itself, the OS linker section, and this links these to OpenGL and all of these things, since this lives in fixes. Yes, what are the fixes? Open Lua in your project on the root makefile, find filter system OS6 block containing link, add these links there. Build pre-make 5 Lua. Yep. System OS6. Yep. Here OS6. We have to add these links. Does it already have something? Nope, it does not have anything. Copy. Okay, and then regenerate the makefile. Don't just edit the generated this file, or fix or vanish it on the next pre-make run from your project's build folder. Run this gmake 2 and then make. Okay, now this should work, hopefully. remake 5 dot lua, or wait. It works. Okay, now it works. What do we have? Where does it go? In binary. Yo, let's go. There we have it. Binary slash debug slash this. Okay. Hello, Raylib. Okay, we have a screen. At least we have a screen now. Cool. Now we can begin next work after this. And let's use Tmux. Cool. Cool. Source main dot c. Wait, why is this main dot c? This is supposed to be c++. If I change this to cpp, Raylib is not included. Okay, I guess we should also fix this error. Raylib.h. How do I write clang-d files so that I can fix LSB error that Raylib.h not found? How do we fix that? Yo, will be killed using Raylib. Shit. That is what we are alive for, right? To be killed. Install beer. Generate compile commands dot json. Okay, beer, and then beer make. Do this. Okay. Beer, what is beer? This is the most reliable fix since it captures the exact include paths pre-make uses, no guess needed. Okay, then from your project's root, wrap your build command. Okay, beer cd debug ls. Cool. Here, okay, we do have beer make and error make. Okay, shit, make is also giving error somehow. Shit, source main.c is needed, but I have written c++. I changed the name of the file. Okay. How do I change the language from C to CPP? Oh shit, we can just do this project in your build remake Lua. We can your game project, not Raylibs. Find the project. This is okay at the top. You make some changes. Language. Okay. Is the word language anywhere else? No. Find the project block here. Kind, location, filter. Project, location, language. Yep. Change this to C, PP, C++. And also the compiler, CPP dialect. Oh shit, CPP dialect is there already. Which block is this a part of? The project. rename your project's source file, and then c.cpp. CPP dialect is plus 23, let's say. Cool. What else do we have to change? We have to move the name, change the name. Okay, done. And then files. Pre-make file glob pattern and pre-make Lua, usually something like this. This needs to include CPP2. Inside build here, files will here, these have to be changed. No, CPP is already there. Shit. Then why was this not working? Shit. Okay, we can take this back, take back. Cool. We just have to go into build and rerun pre-make. Pre-make 5.osx gmake. Okay. And run make. Oh shit. Okay. How did you install the translate? Wait, what is translate? I installed Raylib from here. They have given a template, which is this. We can use, which we can use. I guess I should have done this setup part before the stream, but it is fine. Like raw. That is what you call raw. And also the phone is not charging, which means the camera might stop working at some point. Right now it is working, which is fine. External pre-make 5. Okay, here project. Let me give Claude this whole thing. This is the current pre-make 5.lua. Fix this. Reckoning. You don't need to add language, like yes, that is what I saw. C++ is already there. Remake this is no.low edits. You already have compiled JSON support built in. Notice the line near the top. Okay. cd build file remake gmake 2. And check. Okay, go there cd build remake 5.osx gmake 2. It work. Make shit. Fix this. Make no mistake. What is the error? Why is this compiler still expecting main.c file? Yes, the file name is cp++ now. The name of the file. That is the generated make file still references the old name because pre-make was run before. Okay, cd run this. Make clean. Okay. And then make. Let's go. Okay, that is working. Cool. Now we have the project in C++, which is pretty cool. cd source, lazy, update this. Yo, synchronize tool main.cpp and lsp support. Yes, how do I get lsp support for Raylib knowledge? Confirm. Okay, find name this. Okay, it is there. Compile.json is there. If it is stale, was generated before this rename, generate a new one. Otherwise, check where it is landed. Okay, it is like literally right here. Compile commands.json, and it is empty. Shit. Compile commands.json is empty. And empty, this usually means ECC module ran but didn't get invoked on its own. Some ECC module folks. Okay, I guess we have to generate this thing separately. ECC compile commands.json, which is still empty somehow. Still empty. Shit. Compile commands.json is empty. There was the beer thing that they talked about. Beer make, and now compile commands is still empty. Weighing, pondering. Let's see what is actually happening. Ran ECC is still empty. Yep. CD build remake 5, not ECC but gmake 2, and then remake 5.os6 ECC configuration, debug this, and compile commands are still empty. Remove compile commands, go to build remake 5, not ECC but gmake 2, remake 5, not this but ECC with this command, and compile commands are still empty. They don't even have like shit, they are not even there. Compile commands are gone. Beer make, okay, and compile commands empty. Remake 5 ECC is not making any compiled commands file. There is nothing exists such as gravity, just surface pushes thing to the nearest largest object. We, right, we're actually making a point. There is nothing exist such as gravity. Okay, just surface push the things to the nearest largest object. I guess you are trying to say something peak, but I'm unable to understand, or you are just messing up. Why would something surface pushes? So is this similar to the argument that vacuum does not suck, but it is the pressure which pushes? I guess this is similar to what you are saying here. Yep, this thing does not work. Or pin a specific config. Okay. is empty. Wait, maybe they are. Oh shit. Oh shit. The compiled commands are there, but they are in the build directory. I could either copy the compiled commands from here to the root of this, but that I don't think is very professional. How can I change the path? Yep, so this is correct behavior. Option A. Oh, inside the source put .clang file, or yeah, link would be another way to go about this, but yep, clang would work. .clang and what do we have to put there? Yeah. Compile flags, compilation database is inside build. Now if we go to source, okay, we are not getting any compilation error or any LSP error, which is cool. Just remove all this. Cool. Game loop, remove all the comments. Drawing. Wait. We should read the comments before removing. Okay, what does this say? Now we can treat this as a checkpoint. Does the game work? Build cd binary debug / Gurutvakarshan. Yep, the game works. Cool. We have something on the screen. That is enough. Status. Git commit m initial working. Cool. Now on to actual coding. Here, Raylib is Raylib example file. Okay, this is an example main file for a simple Raylib project. Use this as a starting point or replace it with your own code. Key and cool. Thank you for whoever made this file. This utility header for search and something. Okay, tell the window to use vsync and work on high dpi dots per inch and vsync. I do not completely understand vsync, but vsync is something. Okay, now this is our main target. Right now we have a screen, so that is cool. Now we want a circle on the screen, like okay, create the window. So at this point we are creating the window. Let's change the name here to Gurutvakarshan. Okay, utility function from resource.dir to find the resources folder and set it as the current working directory so we can load from it. Okay, and then load a texture from the resources directory. This is for textures. Okay, here we have the main game loop, and then here run the loop while the user presses escape or presses the close button on the window. Okay, while not, window should close. Makes sense. Then drawing, begin drawing. What do we draw? Set up the back buffer for drawing, clear colors and depth buffers. Clear background and put everything as black. This is what happens after every frame. Okay, draw text saying Raylib, draw text. This is the text, X, Y position, the weight of the text and the color of the text. Okay, we can change this to 40, let's say, and the screen size is this 800 by 600. Let's make it 800 by 800 or 1000 by 1000. Right, cool. and this is the text. We will put this in the middle on the screen, this also 500 500, and then draw another text. Wait, this is not text, this is texture. Wobbit, what is Wobbit? Wobbit is a texture. Okay, draw this at this point. Okay, we got a texture, and then we drew the texture. Okay, then end the frame and get ready for the next one. End drawing. Okay, we began drawing, then we ended drawing. We'll clean up and load texture and close display. Okay, let's see what happened. Make and run. Okay, we have text in the middle and we have a texture here. Okay, how can we center this text here? The dimensions that we gave there, okay. The dimensions that we gave here, which are 500 by 500, they put the top left of our texture, like the text that we have given. If this is the text and we say that put this like at pixel point 500 by 500, which is, let's say this is the point 500 by 500 in the coordinate system, then this top left part of our text would be there. Right, but we want the center of this text to be at this 500 by 500 point. So we need to know the height and width of this box so that we can do some minus plus maths here. So how do we know the size of this text? We should not guess, of course, we should know it. How to know the height and width of text in Raylib? Oh shit. Measure text. Okay, let's say include string. Wait, is the S capital? This is not std string, and this is not capital. Hello there. Okay, and here let's call this thing str, and int str width would be measure text. The text is str and font size. Okay, let's have font size equal to wait, it is 40. Okay, 50. Font size is there. Measure text, no matching call dot t. Convert this into a C type string. Cool. We have the width str, height, measure text str dot c stir dot font size. Okay, we have the height and the width and center. Now the this is the height, or wait, this is the x coordinate. I think x coordinate, we have to move this towards left by str width divided by 2 distance, and move this towards top by str height minus divided by distance, and that should work. That does not work. Shit. Oh shit, it kind of worked. Like, wait, it is in the middle width wise, but not in the middle height wise. Maybe it is. But yeah, good enough. Yo, you know how to use Raylib? Yes, I kind of know how to use Raylib. I made Game of Life in Raylib. Okay, now let's actually make gravity now. I do not want to be here all day. Okay, to make gravity, first of all, we need a circle on the screen. How do we get a circle on the screen? Here, basic window. Okay, we need balls. This is how you get a ball on the screen. I guess we just have to say circle, draw circle. V, what does V mean? Using a vector. Yep, it takes delta circle and circle radius. Delta circle, what is delta circle? Here, delta circle is of type V2, which is just two numbers. Yeah, it is like a pair. Okay, so yeah, let's have a delta circle vector 2, vector 2. We will call it pos, and it will take two numbers, 500 by 500. That works. That does work. And then draw circle from a vector. First of all, it will take the position. Then radius, let's say is 50, and the color is red. Does that work? That does work. We have a red circle in the middle of the screen. Cool. Cool. What else? We have a red circle. Okay, and I guess we should put all of these variables in a separate file because random numbers in code do not look good. Okay, let's create a new file. Constants.cpp. Here we will have height. It will be equal to 1000, and and width, it will also be equal to 1000. And also export. Wait, shit, there is no export. How do we include this thing here? Include dot slash include constants.cpp. That should work. Let's see. Height. Okay, cool, that works. Width, yep, that also works. Okay, what else resources do we need? That is good enough. Let's have an extra file for helper functions, for utility functions. utils.cpp. Here, let's write a function that will return a list of random points, right? We need a function that will take in the height and width of our screen and give us random points. And it will also take how many random points do we need. We need this so that we can have our initial configuration for our universe, or you could call it solar system. Yep, that function should return something like this. And also, how would we represent an object? To represent an object, what stuff do we need? Struct object, or what do we call it in celestial terms? No, we do not call it an object. Celestial object. If the spelling of celestial is correct. Cool. Celestial object. Okay. A celestial object has a position which is of type vector 2 cos. Okay, unknown type vector to fix this. How do we fix this? We fix this by including Raylib here. Okay, this will have a position and it will have a mass. And is that enough? I guess that is enough. No, position, mass, velocity. Yes, it will also have a velocity. And acceleration, will it have some acceleration? I don't know, but it will have some velocity. And we will represent velocity not just by a single number, because velocity is a vector. We will break up the velocity in terms of how much its x coordinate is changing, so vx, and how much its y coordinates are changing, vy. So velocity would also be a vector too. Velocity. Okay, but I don't know, do we need to have its acceleration? I guess yes, we do need the acceleration, because let's say an object has a current acceleration. Let's say there are one object is here, another object is here, and yes, this object, let's say, has some velocity, and due to the gravity of this object, the velocity of this object will change. And because this object, due to the gravity, this object will experience some acceleration, and its new acceleration because of this object would be its old acceleration plus the new one. Yeah, so we do need to store the acceleration also. Vector 2 acceleration. Is that much stuff enough here to represent an object, celestial object? That is, I guess, yeah, that is cool. Now we can work on our random function. That function would return a vector of celestial object. We will call it random initial generation, and this will take in the height and height, width, and also count. And let's initialize a vector of celestial objects response. Return res. Okay, vector is not included. Yep, std vector. Okay. How do we get random points? 1000 random points. Int I equals 0, I smaller than count, I plus plus. How to get a random number in C++? I don't know. There are two ways. In modern C++, there is a better way, and in older version there was a better way. Get time, legacy way, the C style version. But there is this way, modern way. The recommended way is this, in which we get a random device, generate a random seed from the hardware. Okay, then initialize a generator, Mersenne twister engine. This, then define the distribution range. It is this much, and then we can start generating numbers. Distributor will use this generator that we generated and give us a random number. R D J. Hmm. Okay, shit, that is too much work for a simple random number generator. Wait, I guess this has to be specific to the actual number because this is giving us range, but both of these can be common. Random device, include random and random device and generator MT199. Cool. And we'll have two distributions, STD distribution, uniform int distribution. Int distribution, and this will take in range. Yes. Width distribution, and this will take in range from 1 to width, and STD uniform int distribution W distribution 1 to height. Cool. And here let's get a random number in this range. Okay, let's say current width would be equal to int distribution. Use this generator and get a number. Okay, and int current height would be height distributor, and use this generator to get a number. And we can create a celestial object and push it into our response. Response dot in place back would be a good function to use here. The arguments would be, what are the things that this needs? Vector, position, mass initially. We will see how much the mass is, how much the mass should be initially, but okay. Position, vector 2, this is the position, so current width should come. Wait, width and height does not even make sense. Width and height does not even make sense here. Current x and current y is this, so it is height. Cool. Current x and current y. Float okay. What else? We need mass. Let's say initially it is 5. Then we need velocity. Velocity initially is 0. Then we need acceleration, which is also 0 initially. Expected expression. Why would you expect any expression after this? Cool, that works. If I remove this, now it does not work. With this, it works. Cool. So yeah, cool. This works. Main function. Okay. Here at the start, let's get our list. Auto does not look good. Wait, is the camera still working? Camera is still working somehow miraculously. You see this rider here, he has a small boat, but he is going into the storm. Like, that is cool, inspiring. So I just have to buy a new charger or something. Is if the camera stops working, it is also fine. Shit. Okay, I missed a lot of that. My bad. So you can use the get random for random values. Wait, can I get random value? Oh, shit. Okay, shit. I could have used this also. Shit. But I guess it is fine. Fine. Hmm. Okay. Maybe instead of a vector, what we should return here is a set. Yeah, set would make more sense because we would be removing and putting stuff back. So having a set there makes sense. Include set. Cool. Change this to set. Shit, we cannot use in place back no longer, and we have to say celestial object works to work. And here set of celestial, we do have to include utils dot cpp. Here a set std set of celestial object objects equals, what was the name, init generation. It needs the height and width and count. Initial random, which is going to be a constant. Let's say initially we will have 200 objects on the screen. Makes sense. Cool. Now we need a function that will take this much stuff and draw them on the screen. Okay, so let's write a function which does this. It does not return anything, it just draw objects, and this takes in a set of celestial objects, a reference to a set of celestial objects. Obj sense does not actually do anything. Set std set and this should also be a reference. Why is this error? Non-constant L value. This is non-constant, and L value, reference to type this, cannot bind to a temporary type of this. Why can it not bind? I guess this is fine then. Now how do we draw a circle for auto celestial object in obj will run a loop for each object. Okay, let's say cs dot position. For yeah, position is the only thing that we are concerned with. Draw circle v takes in the position is cs dot position. Radius is something that we will have to calculate. Color can be white or ray white. White, yeah, white is fine. Radius. So how do we calculate the radius of this thing? For radius, we need to have density. Density, let's say, I don't know. We will have to test it out. 1.5 is the density. Let's write a function which gives out the radius in float, get radius, and it takes in density and the mass. Okay, if we have density and mass, how do we calculate the radius? Assuming the thing is a perfect square, we need to use some maths here. Bro, camera. Okay, cool. That is fine. Camera is dead. I guess more people will be willing to watch now. The phone is dead, not just the camera. Yep, the phone has stopped working. Okay, what do we have? We have density. We want to find out radius. We have density and we have mass. And shit, why is this very confusing? Density equals mass divided by volume. Okay, volume can be written in terms of radius. What is the volume of a sphere? 4 by 3 pi r cube. Okay, 3 goes to the top. We have r cube equals 3 into mass divided by 4 pi into density. Then radius turns out to be 3m by 4 pi d whole cube root. Okay, so that is the formula to find out radius if we already have the mass and the density, which we do. We have the mass and the density. Cool. So top, the thing on the top is 3 into mass. Bottom, let's change everything from float to double wherever it is. Shit, is there some error here? There is error here. Why? Non-constant borrowed from float to double. Okay. What is the vector type? Vector double, vector 2. There is a Raylib cheat sheet which we can use. Here, cheat sheet. Vector. No. 4. Where do we know the data types? R shape. These are the functions. Yep. These are the structs. Okay, they do not support double. Okay, they do not support double. In that case, we will just use float. What is the problem here? Okay, radius. Yeah. Radius equals get radius. Get radius, and for this we have to pass in density and mass, which is obj or cel dot ces dot mass. What is density? Does this not have access to the constants? It does not include constants dot cpp. That works. It Wait, why is get radius not defined? Because it is defined below. Okay, now it is defined. Return radius. What is radius? Initialize radius. Okay, move this. Cool. Draw the circle. Cool. Cool. Okay, yes, we have the numerator, not top. Top is like not the technical term. Numerator, denominator, numerator. Denominator, as it turns out, is 4 pi d. 4 into 4 into, do we have pi? Get pi in CPP. I guess there is a way to get pi. It's d numbers dot pi inside numbers. Include numbers here. std numbers pi. Yo, let's go. This into density. And shit, that does not work. Non-constant expression. What is this? Float to double. Okay, pi is inside float. Oh, pi is a double. So we have to change pi into float. Cool, makes sense. Okay, we have the numerator and the denominator. We divide these two. Float number thing equals numerator divided by denominator. And how do we take a cube root? There must be a function. Radius equals cube root. Wait, cube root starts from cube. In C++, how to take cube root? Yo, exactly. We got this. Hey, he's not logged in. He's okay. This is not pre-recorded, bro. Oh, CBRT. Take the cube root of the thing. Shit, I'm trying to charge my phone so that I can start my camera again. It would be very cool if I could. Cube root and yep, cool. Load radius, remove radius from here. Cool, and return radius. Wait, this is very bad. I am declaring a variable here and then returning it immediately. What would be better is to just return this right here. Okay, and return cube root of the thing. Cool. So we have a way of getting radius. We have a way of drawing circles on the screen. Now let's put this all together. Remove this. Draw. And draw what was the name of the function? Draw objects. and this takes in OBS. Okay, shit, this should work, but there is an error somewhere. Here, include files, redefinition of height. Wait, how is height being redefined? Okay, yes, this thing, we should change the name of this, rename this from CPP to HPP, and in here define, let's say, consts or hash. Shit. What was the declarative? CPP define declarative. What was it? Hash define. Okay. Const. Okay. And here, if not define const, then define if not define declarative C++. C Yo, hello, simulating gravity in C++ and using NeoM. Damn, yes. Of course, there is no other thing. I'm not an imposter, bro. I unfortunately have a Mac. What was the declarative? Bro understood declarative programming 4 years ago. Cool. Wait, this was 4 years ago and a comment was there 5 years ago? No, shit, this is 5 years ago. If and def C++. The preprocessor, this stands for if not defined. Is it there? If and def, okay, def not defined. If not def const, then def const and end it. What should be it? End if. End if. Cool. Okay. Cool. And that should fix our error, except for the fact, yep, this has to be changed from this to H and also the main file. And yo, let's go. The errors are fixed. Let's compile. We have this random position here. What was the error? Wait, this is like very human readable. Error is operator somewhere. How do we even res dot insert? Okay, error is inside res dot insert. Remove this file, put this constants file there. Here, problem is with this part. Why is this giving us problem? This should be like working totally fine. Is this thing wrong? If we put all the variables here. If we put everything at the same point, okay, there is still error, I guess, because we are forcefully changing integer to float. Nope. const celestial object emplace unique. I'm not even using emplace. Line 6 of main and line 4 of utils. Line 4 here. This is line 4. Straight set. Line 6 of main. Utils line 31 res dot insert. Okay, this in installation of member function, this requested this. Why is this problematic? Line 31, this thing, why is this problematic? Res dot insert celestial object. We are creating a celestial object and putting it where it should be put it. Yes, at least I do not have Windows. Yes, that is how I can sleep at night. Hello, can you simulate C++ with gravity instead? Good question. Did you read my chat? No, he's not logged in. This one I did read. This one, yo. I cannot simulate C++ with gravity. I would love to though. Maybe we can collaborate on that one stream. Vector 2. What is the problem here? Const des, let's equal celestial object ces, initialize it. Wait, how is this not giving any error? I have not given in anything for the celestial object, but it is not giving error. Okay, insert ces. Would we still have error? Shit, yes we would. Res dot insert comp find here res dot insert. Put this in instantiation of member. Res, wait, res was initialized here. Then why are we not able to insert anything to res here? Let's for a while do a bad practice and change set to vector. In the whole file, substitute set with vector, right? And here use pushback instead, and we will have to change the main function also. In the whole file, substitute set with shit. Make this wait vector. Okay, that works. That works. That works. Wait, why are we not getting error here? We are using vector, but we didn't include vector. Maybe because we have included utils and other files, and they themselves are including vector, so we are fine. How about this? Okay, no error. Now let's see. At least is this working? Do we see stuff on screen? No, shit, we don't see anything. There could be multiple reasons. Maybe we do not draw. We are not drawing anything. Let's print this vector on the screen, right? Yeah, instead of drawing, the draw function would print everything on the screen. This draw object, cout dot pos dot x comma ch dot pos dot y and a new line make run. Okay, we are getting stuff. Cool. We also have to change this thing. Cx and cy and change these shit to load. Now, are we able to get random positions? We do. Okay, shit. Let's go. Let's go. We do see stuff. Wait, what? Oh, makes sense. Makes sense. That is pretty cool. So we have a lot of random things on the screen. Okay, that is like very cool. That is very cool. That is very cool. Let's go. Tried GNU debugger, but that during multi-threading. Okay, bro, you are using multi-threading. What is the ultimate easy way? I don't know. I have not written any big programs in C++, so I didn't have any need for it. So yeah, I don't know. But I guess John Cormack, who is much better than me, he also uses GDB. So maybe, yeah, you just have to learn GDB better. Okay. We are able to print and we are getting what would be the next step. And somehow we landed on like very good values for density and everything. Let's decrease the density, and that ideally should, if we decrease the density, that should ideally speaking increase the volume, right? Or yeah, increase the volume of circles. Is this increased? Is this like bigger than it was before? I don't know. Let's increase the density or decrease the density a bit more. 0.5. How about that? Shit, still same. 1. Where that is still literally same. And it seems like we are literally seeing the same positions for these things. Okay, we see one circle here and one circle here. Let's see if I rerun. Okay, no, the points are changing. That is cool. But density somehow has no effect on anything. Let's increase the number of points. 400. How about this? And these are not 400 points. 10 points. Shit, that is not 10. That is not 10. Initial random. Hey, why is this not working? Okay, initial generation. Then this thing runs a loop, count times, and puts stuff inside this res variable. Okay, see after the start size. Oh shit, this would work. Density would have some effect if we were to like rebuild. Only then density would have some effect. Now let's see. Okay, density does have some effect. These are a bit bigger than they were before. Cool. Okay, change this to 200. Cool. So looks better. Make. Okay, restart. Okay, cool. Density does have some effect, as it should. If we decrease it like even more, 001, if the density is very small, then we should see very big things. Okay, yo, let's go. Okay, what should be the ideal density? I guess 1 looks ideal. Here, run this, and yeah, that is fine. Now we have to work on gravity itself. Cool. What do we have now? We have stuff on the screen. We have, yep, what we are able to do is we can draw objects. We have to update the objects. And how do we define an object is here. These are the values. We have to update the position of objects, velocity, and their acceleration. Okay, cool. For this, we need acceleration that is acting on an object by all the other objects everywhere. And also we have to change this from a vector to a set, because if we are storing all the objects as a vector, when two objects come very close, we would like to combine them into a one bigger object, and it is much more difficult to do inside a vector and much easier to do in a set. We can just remove something from a set with time complexity log n, but inside vector the time complexity would be n, which is not good. So let's change this to a set and return set. What is the problem? Set is not defined. Now it is. Yo, pushback is not the way to go. Insert is the way to go. We have to change the main function also. Yep, this is not a vector anymore, it is a set. What does this thing expects? This expects a vector, but not any longer. It expects a set. Cool. This was giving error earlier when we were making this, and it is still giving error. Why can we not insert an object into a set, like an object like this? Okay, let's ask Claude for some help here. I have a object in CPP like this, but I am not able to insert this into a set of celestial object. It is giving error, and the error is this, all of this, whatever it is. Copy. Shit. Go. Copy, paste, and cool. Let's see. And you are taught. Yes, of course, like you are the one who taught me everything. Hello world, printf. Yes. Stream encoding. Wait, what? Hear me out. Maybe. What? I could do stream encoding. I don't know. Okay, shit. There is no way. Okay, we have to define this less than operator for this celestial object. Okay. So that set knows how it is going to order them. Okay, this could have been like kind of obvious. Bool operator less than, it will take two sets other, and it already has access to mass. How do we want to order them on the basis of their position? Yeah, other, wait, celestial object reference, we'll call it other, and return other dot pos smaller than pos. There is no way to compare two vectors. Wait, okay. Bool vector operator, this defined for two vectors. Vector 2 first, and I don't know, maybe this should work. Second. Oh, let's go. Now there is no problem. Okay. If first dot x smaller than first dot then second dot, or if they are not equal to each other, then return first dot x smaller than second dot x, or whatever the case is, else return first dot y smaller than second dot y. Makes sense. Cool, cool, cool. That should now be working, but it does not work. Shit, maybe because of this. We should put this here, then pause, and this would be other dot pause. Substitute first with pause and substitute second with other dot pause, and that works. It should compile now, and it does not. Shit. Auto operator this. Just like let Claude handle it. Now there should not be any error, but there are. We do not live in an ideal world. Okay, till here. Okay. Parosa. Same error, line 52 utils. This means that operator this fix hasn't actually been applied. This fix has not been applied. Why has this fix not been applied? It should have been applied. Maybe because of this. The order does not matter. What was the fix? First we have to define this. Okay, it has to be const, and const here. This const here means that this object that we are comparing is not going to be changed, and this const means like this thing is constant, which means none of this is going to change. Okay, and option 2, no, we did option 1. Make and yo, let's go. Okay, it is working. Cool. Let's have stuff on the screen. Cool, we have stuff on the screen. Let's see once more. Okay, we have stuff on the screen once more. Cool. Now we need to simulate gravity. What do we need? What we need is a function that would take an object and a list of all the other objects, a function that would like update the position of all the objects. Yes, before drawing, update celestial objects, and it will take the objects. We need this function, update celestial objects. Okay, this will not return anything. Update celestial objects, it will take set of celestial object reference obj would be the name, and I would like to change the name of this data structure to something else. Celestial object, that sounds better. Okay, how do we update? We will go first of all object by object. Okay, auto the current celestial object in object. Okay, auto, let's get everything out of this. Auto feed shade, yes, have a reference. Cool. Make this thing a reference to. Cool. And can we say const here? No, we cannot. Cool. Okay. Auto reference. We will destructure the whole object. What are the things that the object has? It has 4 things. Okay. Velocity, pause, mass, velocity, acceleration equals this. That does not work, but that does. Okay, we have the 4 things. We have to update pause, mass. I guess we can do this literally right here. Cool. We have position, mass, velocity, and acceleration. For the current object, what do we have to do is what do we have to do? Should find the acceleration for this object that it has because of all the other objects on in the universe. So we need another function that would return acceleration, and acceleration is vector 2, right? Right, vector 2, we can have a vector of floats. Vector 2 is of floats. Yep, vector 2 has floats. Vector 2. Okay, find acceleration. Then this will take the set of all celestial objects reference. We'll call it obj, and the current one, right? Celestial object reference current object. Cool. And here vector 2 acceleration, initialize, return acceleration. Okay, how do we find acceleration? We have to iterate. For auto iterate, position is the only thing that we need. Position and mass. We also need mass of all the other objects. We don't need their position and their acceleration, right? OBJ. C++2C extension. Placeholder. Okay. Yep. Now if pos dot x is not equals if we have to make sure that this current object that we are at from all the objects is not the same as the current object for which we are finding the acceleration, because that would make the distance equal to 0 and the gravitational force would be infinite. So here if equals current dot pos, I guess we can destructure current also. Pos, we need pos and mass and nothing else. Shit. Undeclare. Okay, shit, we cannot destructure the thing here. We have to get access here. Okay. Auto, we don't need a reference. Position, mass, C position, current position, and current mass. We don't care about anything else. Equals this destructure this. Okay. If current, if not C position dot x equals pos dot x and C position dot y equal pos dot y. In that case, we can do something. So if not x is same and y is same, that is at least one of these is different, then we will be calculating gravity. and we will calculate gravity using the formula of gravity. Of course, Arship released a new video. That is cool. Parsura equals Parsad. Okay, shit. There's you are giving me Parsad. Thank you. Okay, what is gravity? G m1 m2 upon r square, and we will divide this in the coordinates x and y. Yep. So we will have, and wait, this gives us acceleration, right? Or does it give us force? Wait, yes, this gives us force. F equals gm1 m2 upon r square. We need acceleration. We do not need force. And wait. F equals ma. So divide by m, we get a. So divide this by mass. Let's remove this. So acceleration equals g mass of the other object divided by radius square. So for calculating acceleration, my mass does not matter. Only the mass of the object which is pulling me matters, which is pretty cool. And radius, what would be the radius or distance? We will have two accelerations. X would be g m by x square, and y would be g m by y square. So okay, what do we do here? Blank. Okay, yes, find acceleration. Float acceleration in x direction would be g. What is g? Constant. We have to define a new constant. Okay, const float g. Value of g was 6.23. Gravitational constant. Okay, shit. 6 point, or maybe we can write it as 20 divided by 3. This much accuracy would be enough. Let's take it to more significant digits. What is this? Gravitational constant to 10 significant digits. Okay. Shit, I guess they don't know what comes after 30. Okay. So, yeah. Ooh. Wait, we don't actually have to write 0. It would be by default assumed as 0. Right. So we are working with the latest, best measurements. Okay, we have a g, which is g multiplied by m, mass of the other object, which is this mass, and divide this by radius square. Radius is the direction of the distance does not matter because it is distance, and what is distance is a scalar. What is the vector version of distance? Like displacement. Yes, this is not displacement. What we are working with is distance, so this is fine. Divide this by absolute difference of c current position dot x minus cos dot x. That works using integer absolute abs when absolute std absolute. Cool, that works. Okay, this is acceleration in the x part. Wait, square. Okay, shit, we have to square this thing. Okay, float distance or x distance equals std absolute difference between c cos dot x minus cos dot x. Go back, find this, delete x distance into x distance, cool float y distance would be std absolute difference between position of x. Wait, we can literally just remove this, copy this, paste this, and substitute all the x's with y globally. Yep, y distance equals position y minus position y, the mass into y distance into y distance. Cool. So we have the acceleration, current one for this one, and what we'll do is this is probably 0 0 at the start. Here what we'll do is after this acc dot x plus equals x acceleration in x direction, and acc dot y plus equals acceleration in y, and okay, shit, this is not displacement, this is actually direction, and this is not direction, this has to be displacement, because the direction does matter. We cannot just keep adding the displacement. Okay, and depending on if our current object is here and the foreign other object is here, that is x of our object is smaller than the x of the other object, then whatever the current acceleration is, we will add this new acceleration caused by this object. But if it were the other way around, if the foreign object was here, then we would do current acceleration minus this new acceleration, because this is accelerating this object towards left, and same way for y. For x, this would be the positive direction, and for y, this is the positive direction. So if what current cos dot x is smaller than position dot x, if rx is smaller than the foreign object's x, which means we are on the left, which means acc cc dot x plus equals a dot x. But if that is not the case, then we will do acc dot x minus equals a by x, and also we will only do this in case we want to make sure that this thing is never zero. Like, yep, makes sense, right? The distance cannot be zero. The distance is zero, x distance equals 0, like exactly literally 0. In that case, we'll say that it is infinite or something, so that the acceleration caused by it would be 0 in that direction. Wait, here is int max. C++ int max. Yo. And no, wait. Why am I not able to share my camera? Wait a minute, I'm just fixing my camera. Technical difficulties. Shit. Wait. No, it is still not working. I can use the camera of my laptop instead. Here, video capture device, add new capture device, MacBook Air, camera, high speed, cool. Shit, that is like very bad. That camera is literally very bad. Shit, I don't want to use it. It is better to not have a camera. Yeah, today would be connecting. My phone is connecting to the camera is not working. It's fine. I guess it is fine without camera. What is the meaning of the painting? This painting, wait. This is execution of lady. This is a lady. Her name is Jean Grey, and she was killed because the current queen feared that when she grows up, she will take the throne from her. And this lady is 17 years old, and yeah, so she was just like executed. And the meaning is you kill what you are afraid of, right? So that because you are just afraid, you kill out of fear, and you should keep that in mind. Do not kill out of fear. That is unfair. Brand new day reference. Jean Grey. Her literal name is Jean Grey. The lady Jane Grey. Yeah, the execution of Lady Jane Grey. So that is unfair. Yep, int max in C++. Where is it? It is inside numeric limits. It is inside limits. Limits, and what did this include? C limits. Okay. Where were we? Here. Max, so that the gravitational pull in this case would be 0. Wait. Do we have float? Max. We don't. Int max is fine. This is anyway edge case. If y distance equals 0, or a better way to write this, or a cleaner way, I would say to write this if is not x distance, and here okay, if not y distance, then y distance equals max that works. Okay. We did this for x, we have to do the same for y. In this whole thing, substitute x with y globally. If my y is smaller than the y of the foreign object, then my acceleration would increase. In other case, it would decrease. Very cool. And this should work. This should literally work. Like, no joke, this should work. Okay. Auto reference auto, no, acceleration in x direction, acceleration distance or difference in x direction, and acceleration difference in y direction equals get equals find acceleration, not get. We are not finding anything, we are getting. Get acceleration, and this thing takes obj and this, which is the object itself, and shit, no matching function call because this is wrong. Shit, we can pass the position and mass directly instead of passing the object. Position is a vector 2 and mass is just integer. C mass. Okay. Wait, we don't even need the current mass because acceleration does not matter, does not depend on the current mass. Okay, we have the difference in the acceleration, which means we can update the actual current acceleration. So current acceleration plus equals a d x, current acceleration in x direction. Cannot assign AC because it is constant. Who said that? ACC is constant. Why is ACC constant? Why is ACC constant? ACC is defined here. Unfair, what should I do after learning JS full stack? Should it be a good idea to learn cybersecurity? I mean, first you have to learn JS full stack in a way that is like good enough, right? And only then think about what you can do next. Or maybe if it motivates you, you can learn some stuff in cybersecurity. Cybersecurity itself is very, very big, like literally very big. So yeah, it depends on whatever you want to do. Acceleration. Shit. Wait, I'll go to the washroom and I'll be right back in 1 minute. Very, very proper key something. Wait, I'll be right back in 1 minute. I'm going to the washroom. I am back and let me just try to fix my camera. It would like improve the stream so much and also the retention of people. I will get so many views and so much money. Shit, it is not. My phone is just not charging. Bad day. BT. Okay, acceleration x. Somehow ACC is constant, but no one ever told C++, the compiler, that this is supposed to be constant. Okay, maybe it is. Nope, we are not seeing that this is constant here. Oh, now, oh shit. Const, where else do we have const? Do we have const here? Nope, we do not have const anywhere else, but bro is literally still giving error. What is the type of this object? This is not const. This is like a regular reference to an object. Then why is this const? Does not make sense. What is says? Says, wait, shit. Why is says const? Even though this object is not const. Huh. If I change this from a reference. Okay, says is no longer const, but if we are taking says as a as a reference, then it is const. So why does the compiler not want us to change any values? Because that would disrupt the ordering inside object, which does make sense, which does actually make sense. It does make sense, it does make sense, it does make sense. That would disrupt the ordering. Okay, this makes sense. And the problem here is this. Wait. Yep. If we have, let's say, a set of integers, let's say s, which has a bunch of integers, and we put in this 1 2 3 4, and since this is a set, these things will be ordered by default. And if we start iterating for end like I n s, this I would start from 1 and go till 5, even if we change the order in which we insert these things. 4 3 2 1, right? So we will, this I would still start from 1 and go till 5, even though the order in which we inserted the elements was the opposite, because s is always sorted. But now, and this I right now is a copy of the integers inside s, but if we, and therefore this I is not constant, it is a normal integer. But if we take this as a reference of the literal thing that is inside s, then we will get error. Why do we get error? Binding reference of type int to value of type constant drops const qualifier. Maybe because int is a primitive type, therefore it is causing some problem. Let's have a struct st, which will have an integer x, right? And this would be a set of st, and here we would have 5, right? 5 4 3 and stuff like that. And this will be let's have this as a string LO, and auto I right now is a string, and we can change I dot insert or pushback. We can do anything, not pushy, pushback a, and this is fine. Like, this does not give us any error. But if we change this to a reference, then we are getting error, because now I is not just pointing to a string, it is constant, because we cannot just change a thing inside a set, because those things are arranged in a way that is meaningful. So we cannot just change those things, right? That would disrupt the order. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Yes, you cannot see my face. The camera is gone, bro. My phone went dead. I use my phone as a camera, and I do not want to use the camera of my laptop. It is not very good. It will charge in a bit, then you will be able to see my beautiful face. You can see this painting till now. She is also beautiful, but she is dead. She was killed when she was 17. Very sad. Okay, update celestial objects. Yep, this is the function that we are working on right now. Yep, we got on that tangent because we saw we were getting error here, which is very reasonable. We should get an error here. Okay, so acceleration is constant, which makes sense. this pause. Wait, why are we getting error for pause? Fix. Yep, remove this. Okay, we have the updated acceleration, or like the change in the acceleration that should be there for this current object. Now we have to update its position. We will not update its mass. For mass, we will have a separate function which would find collisions between objects, right? Yep. We will have a separate function which would find collisions, and if two objects are literally touching each other, then we would change their what we would make them a single bigger object, and the mass of the bigger object would be the mass of would be the summation of mass of both the smaller objects. We have to update position and velocity and acceleration. Acceleration does not depend on time. Yes, acceleration does not. It does depend on time. It does not. Yeah, we don't need FPS. We do need FPS though. Const and FPS. Let's make it 30 frames per second or movie version 24 frames per second. Okay, we would need FPS when we want to update position and velocity, but I feel like, I don't know why, but I feel like I saw it in a dream that acceleration would not depend on FPS. We can just add it. Can we just add no shit, the current acceleration would literally overwrite the original one, so we don't even need this. Yes, yep, we don't need this. We do not need this. So the new acceleration should, yes, make sense. We don't need this acceleration. Yeah, that makes sense. We can change our definition for the object here. We don't know need acceleration. Where are the errors? We do not need acceleration. Where is this? Yep, we don't need acceleration anywhere. Cool. Is there any error in other files? No. Cool. Okay. Okay. Get acceleration. Now we have acceleration. We have acceleration, which we do not even need to update. We do not need to update mass right now. We just need to update velocity and position. Okay, first of all, let's update velocity. Velocity would be, let's see, we will use some maths for velocity. Okay, cool. Use some maths. So change in velocity divided by time equals acceleration. And okay, so change in velocity would be acceleration multiplied by time. Now, what is time? Time is shit. What is time? Time is 1 divided by FPS. Yes, because we are going frame by frame. So, and one frame, so the time that it takes, the time which has passed during rendering of one frame would be 1 by FPS, whatever the FPS is. Cool. So we have time is 1 by FPS. And how do we calculate dv? And also, yes, this a could be negative or positive. It is directionally dependent on things. So yep, we'll find this and we will add our original current velocity to this. So yeah, velocity would be and we are in obj, we are in object. Where do we put the updated objects. Where do we put the updated objects? If this were a vector, it would be easier to change them. I guess we should change this from a set to a vector, because we cannot, because if we are storing the objects as a set of objects, then we cannot update individual object. But if it were a vector, then we would be able to change individual objects. And the reason that I moved to a set from a vector was because whenever a collision happens, we would have to remove those two objects from our set, remove them, and add a bigger object into our set. And this is much more efficient in a set and less efficient inside a vector. But if we think about, if we have, let's say 1000 objects, then there can be how many collisions? What can be the maximum number of collisions? Whenever a collision happens, the number of objects decreases by 1. Yes, that is like the literal definition of a collision. So we can have at max 999 collisions, and the time complexity for this whole thing would be number of collisions. And whenever a collision happens, we will have to create a new vector, and the time complexity for creating a new vector is the number of elements in the vector, which is going to be, let's say, 1000 at its peak. So the total time complexity would be O of 6, which is very manageable. It is like 1 microsecond, and this 1 microsecond is spanning the whole duration of our program, from the point that we had 1000 objects on the screen to the point when we have a single very big object on the screen. Yes, and I guess we will not have a very big single object on the screen at the end, because if that were the case, that is, if you just like have a bunch of stuff that is pulling on each other, and at the end what you get is a single blob of objects, then if that is how the universe worked, then you would not have Earth and everything around it, because the Earth would have merged with the sun. So yes, that makes sense. Cool. So we should change this from a set to a vector for like the nth time. This whole thing in the whole file, substitute set with vector globally. Where is the error? Error is here. Yes, makes sense. Use pushback. Cool. What is the error here? Shit. Vector and okay, shit, that was a like single line fix. Okay. Now, since this is a vector, we can actually change the velocity directly. Velocity plus equals. That works. Yes, velocity is also divided in x and y. Okay. So vel dot x plus equals what was acceleration in x direction, multiplied by time is going to be 1 divided by fps. Makes sense. 1.0 divided by fps, and velocity dot y plus equals ax multiplied by 1.0 divided by fps. Cool, that works. Okay, so we have successfully updated velocity. Now with this updated velocity, we can update the position also. Okay, what would be the new position? Let's see. New position would be change in distance ds. Wait, change in distance divided by time equals velocity, and we have a velocity. We need distance equals velocity into time, we have the velocity, and time is just 1 divided by fps, frames per second. So let's go. We can write here pos dot x plus equals velocity in x direction multiplied by 1.0 divided by fps. Cool. Position in x plus equals velocity in y direction multiplied by 1.0 divided by fps. Cool. We have updated x and y successfully. Yes, pretty much successfully. Cool. And I guess I can start my camera also just in a bit. Wait, I guess it is working now. Wait, let me check. Shit. Camera is not working. Connected. Wait, maybe now it is working. I guess it is just thinking some things. Just blurred. Finally. Wait, you are dying to see my face? We can hop on a VC chat later. But you will have to become a member of my channel and we can do stuff. Shit. It is just black. Shit. That is how my face looks. If it works, then fine. If it does not, then also fine. Okay. We have successfully, hopefully, updated the position and velocity in the way that it should be updated. Okay. FPS. This should just like work now. If we run this, compile. Okay, it is not compiling. Fine. The problem is with int max. Okay. cpp max float value. How do we get it? Okay, numeric limits float max. std numeric limits load max. That works. Replace this with y. Okay, that should work. Okay, we have compiled. Okay, now is the test. Now is the like actual test. Let's see what happens. Well, I got a stream planned this evening doing Lua from Codex. Let's go, bro. Lua is cool. You can make Bellatro in Lua. Let's see. That is some gravity. Fuck. We also have to clear the screen. Clear background. Black. This should happen in here. Before drawing anything, clear background and make it black. Make run. Oh shit, that does work kind of. I don't know shit, why is everything going outside? Let's make the particles a bit closer to each other. Initially, that is get in it. Yes. Width by 2 and width by 4 and width by 3 into width divided by 4. Yes, something like this. Height by 4 and 3 into height by 4. See, now what this will do is put all the particles initially closer to each other, and they should not be moving. Okay, okay. Let's decrease the FPS. No, no. Let's. What would you? Let's. How do we decrease the effect of gravity? Easily. We can reduce the value of this constant. Remake. Why are they all moving like wonky? 24 FPS is fine. How do we slow down time? Let's have a constant for it. And speed, we are like Doctor Strange, changing the speed of time. Okay, speed of time. Time speed. How do we utilize this variable? Acceleration. G m1 m2 upon r square. How do we literally slow down time? I guess at the end, before returning, we can do acc dot x divided by time speed, so that if time speed is higher, then acceleration would be greater, otherwise it would be lower. Time speed, and 1 would mean 1. Load, okay. 1 would be like normal speed. Okay, that is normal speed. At least we have like something running. Let's reduce the speed of time by half. Nah, that like literally didn't change anything. You can change. What can we change? Initial mass. We are saying that the initial mass is 5. Let's change the initial mass to a variable which is here, and initial mass, it is equal to 1. Run. And why are particles going like outside? Let's only have 2 particles. That would make sense. Yep. Let's only have 2 particles so that we can observe instead of 200. And let's also decrease the density so that they are like a bit bigger. 1 is fine. Okay, cool. Okay, we have 2 particles and they are like literally not even moving. This will make them bigger, but bigger doesn't actually mean anything. Initial mass, let's say 10 kgs, and also speed of time would be 1. Compile with these settings. 2 particles of the same mass, common speed. The mass cancels out in mass cancel out. You spawn them together, each of them adds up to velocity and position goes blur. Size or mass? Yes, I am keeping track of mass, not the size. It handles the exponential power of gravity and position and attraction force. There would not be any exponential gravity. If two particles of same mass come, then mass cancels out in gravity. How does how like mass cancel out? The force shit, that is not force. Force equals g m1 m2 by r square. Where is mass getting cancelled out? Mass is not getting cancelled out. Mass is like always there. Shit. Wait. Are these moving? Yes, they are moving. Shit. Okay, I'm not moving my mouse. It is the particles that are moving. And they are only moving in one direction. Okay, gravity is wonky. Gravity is messed up. Okay. The way that we are calculating acceleration, that is messed up. I'll not move my mouse to see how they are moving. Okay, they are moving in the right way in terms of their x coordinates, but shit, they are not moving in the right way in terms of their x coordinates. Why is this particle going there and that one went there? Let's also print some logging. See out velocity for each particle. Let's have a print function for a particle. Void print celestial object. It will take in celestial object reference obj would be the name, and it will print here obj dot mass. Yeah, fine, like print mass, it is fine. And printf is much better here. So first print the mass, percent d, and then pos dot x, percent d, pos dot y, percent d, and then velocity dot x, percent d, and velocity dot y, percent d, and then a new line. Okay, and here we would have obj dot mass comma obj dot position x, obj dot position dot y, obj dot velocity dot x, obj dot velocity dot y. That shit should have worked, but okay, format specifier int, but okay, shit. Substitute d with float globally, except the mass, everything is float. Recompile, and is it compiled? It is. Restart. Ooh. And okay, we are not calling the print function. Makes print celestial object takes in the object itself. Auto velocity. Wait. The first thing is position, then then mass, I guess, and then we have velocity, and that equals and here call this function with CES. Okay, and is the order correct? Yep. Position, mass, and then velocity. Position, mass, and then velocity, and cool. Compile. For a minute you were simulating gravity. Yes, I am simulating gravity. Mass cancels in free fall condition only. Right, it is possible. If my goal is to calculate, I can write this f as ma, right? Ma m1a, and cancel, and I will get the acceleration on one object induced on it by the other object, right? In this direction. Cool. Hmm. Hmm. Nothing is changing. Like, stats are same, or they are changing, and I'm not able to see them. Shit. Something. Are these particles moving though? They are. Shit, it is not moving. Nah, nope, they are not moving. Why are they not moving now? They were moving fine before. Maybe they are just too far apart. Initial mass, let's say 20 kgs, and the gravitational pull is 6. Compiled, run this. Are they moving now? They are. Shit, why are they literally not moving? Shit. Oh, they are not moving. We are getting acceleration. Let's also print the acceleration. That would be cool. C out A X AX AX A Y A underscore Y and space. What is C out? That is a good question. It is C out. Good. Make. Okay, and acceleration is okay. Shit, acceleration is something like in is the acceleration is there, but it is not changing anything. Not in velocity, neither in the other part. Why is it like too small? Maybe the acceleration is too small. When we divide a number like this by, wait, why is the acceleration in y direction so small? Huh. Now acceleration in both the directions is very small. But whatever it is something. Why is it not changing the velocity? Velocity stays at 0. Why? We add to velocity acceleration divided multiplied by this, and here also we do that. Because this reference has to be a reference. My bad. This has to be a reference. My bad. Remake. Now this should be moving. Shit, these things are still not moving. Yo, okay, you will stream. I'll see you. Wait, is the camera still not? Yeah, camera is still not working. Let me see what is wrong. Yo, let's go. Camera is working now. Yo, let's go. Okay. Yes, of course, I'm interested more in you than in you learning Lua. Okay, now the camera is working, which is pretty cool and cool. Okay, now the problem is somehow acceleration and stuff are not changing. Why are these things not changing? I guess here we can say access dot velocity, access dot velocity, access dot position, access dot position, and here this dot velocity, not CEX, which would be centralized exchange, but CES. And what is position here? That is a good question. Access dot position. Now this should work. Make, okay, building, it is compiling, thinking, and okay. Yes. Now they are moving, albeit in the wrong direction. That is not how gravity works. They are moving in the wrong direction. Let's reduce the speed. Initial mass, let's say, is 10, or let's say initial mass is 5 for the objects, and my phone will like again die. Right, now cool, it is charging, hopefully. Density is that much, density is fine, and let's see. Let's also reduce the FPS so that we don't see a lot of things on the screen. FPS would be 1. Make. Okay. Let's add a pause button so that we can pause and look at things. That would be like very cool. That would be very cool. Shit, that would actually be very cool. How do we add a pause button in Raylib? Or mouse click, click, or press 26 matches, compress, depress. Is key pressed? Yes. Wait, not key. Is key. We can check for it like spacebar, if spacebar is pressed or not. If key pressed, or maybe is key down. Yo, let's go. Is key down? That would work. Cool, cool. We can have something like this. Here we can see if is key down, and the key that we are talking about is backspace. How do we write key back, key space? If space bar is down, we will have a variable, a global variable, update celestial objects. Not here, but yep, global variable will be here. Continue initially would be okay. Working initially should be true, and if is key down, if space key is down, or not down but pressed, then working equals not, whatever it is, the opposite would happen. And if working only, then update the celestial objects. So now this should give us a pause and continue kind of button. Okay, space. Okay, that works. Space, space, stop, starts, stops. Okay, cool. That is pretty cool. It doesn't, distance should be decreasing. It should be Like in the ideal case, it should be. Look at that. That was like messed up, crazy. That was actually crazy. Wait. Hmm. We have to change our print function a little bit here. Let's say we'll have a integer a which will be initially equal to 0, and before printing anything we will print out a. It's really cool. And then a plus plus. This will give each object a name or a number, so that we can identify what thing we are looking at. Okay, so for 0 the position was this, then it changed to this. Wait, it is acceleration. Acceleration, we don't care about acceleration, but mass is also there. Position, okay, position was this and it changed to this. What was the velocity? Acceleration was here, positive in the x direction for particle A. But which one is particle A? That is the question. Shit, which one of these particle is A? This one is moving towards right, so its x velocity should be positive, and it is this one, so 0. Its x velocity is positive and y velocity is also positive, so it should be moving right and down. And for the other particle, its x and y are minus minus, so it should be moving up and towards left, and it is moving up and towards left, except at a point it started to run away. Okay, so the problem happens whenever two particles are sharing the same x and y position. Here, whenever two particles are sharing the same x and y position, there is a problem. Okay, shit. We are taking max and then we are multiplying max by itself, which is messed up, and it is causing the acceleration to reach crazy limits. Makes sense. So we have to do something here. Float a x, let's say it is something something, and else we do this, but in here we do a underscore x equals g into mass divided by the numeric limits for float max. Maximum limit for float. Cool, camera is working. And the same for y. Float a y, except here instead of x we have to look at y. X. Okay, cool. That should ideally fix the problem. Okay, something messed up happened. Okay, when they like share the exact same y coord x coordinate, something might happen, and it did. How can we specify FPS? FPS. Draw FPS. What? Draw FPS? Draw current FPS. What does it mean to draw FPS? Get FPS. Set target FPS. Okay, yes. Set target FPS. We are not calling this function. So maybe, yeah, we are messing up there. Set target FPS, and target FPS is FPS. That might change some things. Okay. Okay, that changed the FPS to what we wanted it to be. Let's make it higher. Yeah, 2 FPS is like very high. Okay, let's see. Okay, these are moving. In this one, acceleration, x acceleration is towards right, and y is also towards right. It should be moving towards right, which I guess this one is moving, but they should be like moving in the way that they are there, right, on this line that is joining them, but I guess they are not moving in that line. Their velocity should be different, but their acceleration should be same and opposite. For this one it is minus this, and for this it is the same number but plus. For this it is minus this number. For this it is almost the same number but plus. That is good. Mass is also 5. Let's increase the mass, and yep, initial mass, let's make it like 100 kgs, and density should be lower in that case, 100 times lower. Let's see, make this, run this. What do we see? Are they moving a bit faster? Yes. The gravity is bigger. Increase the mass even more. 1000. Okay, make. Okay, but yes, like their speed is messed up. They should not be moving the way that they are. Yes, why? Like, why is this particle moving towards right? Both of them are moving towards right, even though their acceleration say a different thing. Okay, yes, position for this moved towards right, and position for this also moved towards right, and their velocity for this one increased towards right, and velocity for this one also increased towards right. But why are the velocities towards right increasing even though the acceleration does not say so? acceleration is negative, you multiply it by some number and add it to velocity. And the same for y. This should be working. There doesn't seem to be any problem with this. This velocity dot x position xy. Acceleration is right. Here the acceleration is negative, and both in the x direction and also in the y direction, but the velocity, oh, velocity also decreased. But why was it like this much? Why was velocity this high in this direction? Initially, why is velocity like this much initially, and why is acceleration so high in the x direction? And yep, it is only this high in the x direction. Is it like a recurring phenomenon? Okay, so initially when acceleration was this for this and this for this, this, and velocity was this. Okay, whatever. I guess this is fine. One particle is moving towards left and down, and one particle is moving towards, wait, the acceleration here does not match. The acceleration should be like opposite but same magnitude, but it is different, which does make sense because acceleration depends on the mass of the other object. Yes, force would be same, but acceleration would be different. Okay, makes sense. The sign should be opposite though. Right. Cool. The sign is this, and half fps velocity became this, and then okay, and then acceleration changed from -18 to -167, which is a lot, which is a very big jump. Why did that happen? There is some problem with our acceleration function. There might be a logical bug somewhere. I mean, there of course is a bug. It could be that we are changing the elements inside object. Object is a vector, and we are also using those elements to do something. But that should not cause problem because the object that we are using or the element that we are using from this list are not the ones which we are changing. if C boss is not equals this and this, then do not of that. Wait, here we can literally say, instead of all this, we can say 0. And here also. Shit. 0. Make and restart. See, what do we see? Okay, they are kind of revolving around each other, and now they are moving towards each other. Their velocities are also equal and opposite. Okay, they are revolving. Okay, shit. Yes, we messed up at that point. Why is this not stopping? At a point, they just went crazy. It changed the FPS. 1 and time speed 2. That, like, the acceleration is twice than what it should be. Okay, they are moving. Yo, can you tell me, for this type of creation, okay, it is stopped. For this type of creation, what type of laptop are good? I guess Mac is fine. Or if you are on a Intel laptop, then you can install Linux, and it will solve all your problems. And for this, you don't need much. A simple GPU would be fine. If you can play a game on your laptop, then you can also run this. And shit, I guess we have to restart this. Oh, shit, it was starting. Shit, where is the other particle? Okay, they are moving just fine. They are not moving, they are moving. Shit. Let me change the print function a little bit. How do we say that this should use some specific amount, of spaces on like digits? Yes, that is what we say. 8, and here also. How do we say the same thing here? We can just use printf. A underscore x, a float of 8 digits, and then a underscore y space a float of 8 digits, and then space. And even before that, 1 is fine. A underscore x, comma a underscore y. That should work. Make. Okay, is it printing in the right way? It is not. Why is there like so much space here? Oh, minus. And also, yeah, fine. Why is this going up? Why is this going up? Maybe the velocity is increasing too much, and the later acceleration, which is pulling this thing down is not enough to pull this thing down, or something like that. Or maybe this is like these things are throwing each other away. I don't know. Let's increase the stakes a bit more, and yep, we will have to play with this quite a bit to fix stuff. Let's see how things go now. Density should be 2 and FPS would be, let's say, 24. Time speed should be 1. Okay, and this is going to be crazy. Let's see how it goes. Does it need GPU or CPU more? It needs, I guess, I'm using Raylib, and I don't think Raylib utilizes the GPU. So this is only using CPU in my understanding. Does Raylib uses GPU? I don't think so. Shit, Raylib does use GPU by default. It relies on OpenGL via RLGL abstraction layer to send drawing commands, texture, and everything. Okay, it is using GPU, so it does use GPU, but not too much, because look at this. The extent of this project is not too big. Let's see. Hmm. 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 Density. Let's reduce the initial mass to 200. Why do things get scattered? 1 kg, and density would be 1 kg, and density would be 1. Density would be 1. Make this. Okay, why are all of them going away all over the place? I mean, it does look cool, but and sometimes they are just disappearing. Let's increase the number of particles just for fun, like for science sake, since I'm a scientist. Okay, make, run, and okay, we have 1000 particles and they are moving all over the place. Look at this particle, it is like going in whatever Brownian motion. Let's see, 1000. How about 1000 particles? That is a lot of particles, and they, okay, it is still working fine without any hiccups. Let's see, how far can we move this? 24 fps. Let's use 24 fps, but 2000 particles. Okay, now it is lagging a little bit at 2000 particles, because the time complexity of this is n square, which is big, and n square multiplied by 24, because that is the frame rate. I guess, yeah, something is wrong, and yep, we do have a working prototype though. Not working, but we do have a prototype. It is, I guess, close to working. Wait, why do we have a file named 3? Git add everything. Why is there cache? Yep. Commit, circles are on screen. We push origin main, and shit, there is no origin or remote. Let's create a repository, and I will push all of this, and we will work on this later. Right now I'm not in the mood. Guruत्वाकर्षण is the name. Create repository. Git remote add data. Git remote add origin. This and git push origin main, and that works. That works. Writing objects. Why is the project so big? Shit. 2240 lines were added to the code. That is crazy. What is the size of this thing? Du message 179 MBs. Why? Toki Guruत्वाकर्षण. Okay, let's see. It has a lot of lines. It has Lua, C++. How many C++ lines does it have? Not much. 187 lines. It has a lot of C lines because of Raylib. It has the whole Raylib thing. Cool. The whole project is here. If you want, you can check it out. It is not working completely right now. I will do another stream in which we will fix the bugs, because right now all we have are bugs. At least we have something instead of nothing, so that is cool. We can reduce the number of particles to make this animation a bit cleaner. Instance, the number of particles initial is 1000. Let's say cd and make run. Yep, a bit smoother. Cool, but everything like is going outside. The gravity is not gravitating, and we will fix these errors in the next stream. But for now, that would be it. What do we have? We have a like some base over which we can build, and for now that is good enough. And in the next stream we can fix the bugs. Yep, and thank you for being here.